Hi everybody, I'm at Hunting Island State Park and I'm about to take a bike ride. We are starting here at the lighthouse and about to head off down to the fishing area and then into the Maritime forest. Island's taken a real hit from hurricanes in the past couple years. And there used to be a road right there where the ocean is, and we've recently piled all this sand up here at South Beach. I think all this was flooded from hurricane that came through in October 2017. And my understanding is they're working hard trying to get this place open for January 1st. This is the Lagoon at Hunting Island. It's a pretty good place to catch little panfish like spot and grunt. And we're going on this trail. This is called the Lagoon Access Trail. Last time I was here was 2 years ago, and at the time surface was pretty good to ride on. So far so good. The lagoon hasn't always been a big open waterway like that. It used to be a big salt marsh, probably with a couple of creeks, maybe one long one. But they dredged it probably about 50 years ago and pumped all of the sand and silt out onto the beach. The idea was to re-nourish the beach, because it suffered from a lot of erosion, as it has been for thousands of years. And I reckon right around there was where Forrest Gump got shot in the buttocks. He was saving Bubba. That looks familiar. Wow, there's a dolphin. Here there's also a kiosk with a map, and I started here at the lighthouse and drove down to South Beach, which was closed, and then on the Lagoon Trail right about here. Behind me is the access to the Marsh Boardwalk Trail, but I'm going to head on down, see if I can get on the bridge that goes over to South Point, see what it looks like down here. I just come back and take the old sand road, which is called the Maritime Forest Trail, all the way back. A lot of really awesome trails here. One that goes up to the campground, cut through from the lighthouse to the campground trail. Of course, the best trail of all, which is the beach at low tide. So that right there looks pretty natural where Lagoon connects to the ocean, but that just formed during the last hurricane, and it used to be a solid bank along there. And beach side has just kept eroding and eroding, and it finally cut through. So it should be interesting to see what's farther up the lagoon. The fiddler crabs are all down in their little holes today. There's one. My understanding is that these should not be eaten unless you want to induce vomiting. All kinds of prickly stuff out here. There's a little bit of pickleweed. Well, right now I'm riding on what we call the Old Sand Road. The proper name for it now is the Maritime Forest Trail. The story I heard was that for 100 years, a couple hundred years ago actually, maybe 150, this was the road that went from the north end of the island to the south end of the island. And it got all overgrown after the state park system acquired the island, or maybe before then. So they built a highway. It went over to Fripp, and we made it back here to the Marsh Boardwalk crossover. Anyway, got all overgrown, and you could sort of pick your way through here, but it got cleared back out by the state park system and turned into this really nice bicycle and hiking trail. And it's long and straight, and I think it runs across an old sand dune from eons ago. Well, maybe not eons, but from a while back. And off on the sides, just drops down into the forest, and then over the ways, there's another ridge of another line of sand dunes. Pretty sweet. End of the trail, you can see that the old sand road has been paved from that point on. It's the exit to the state park. I think that's a red bay that's dying there. This place has been covered with some big old ones, but some kind of infestation took them all out. Must have been 5 years ago. But it looks like a bunch of them came back from the stumps and the roots, maybe from the seeds, and once they get that big, they start dying again. Park entrance is another trail called the Magnolia Forest Trail, and I'll see what that looks like. Now, this one's a little harder to ride on because of the pine straw tread, but haven't come across any big trees blocking the way yet. Some have blown down. The trail comes out and crosses this temporary exit to the park, continues on that way to the campground, but it looks like they got that closed today too. Hope this opens up soon. If I'm reckoning correctly, this heads back to the lighthouse. ago, this big open space used to be a freshwater marsh so far inland. And then got connected to the ocean and became a saltwater marsh. And now, with the hurricane having washed a bunch of sand in here, pretty much a wet desert. My hat blew off back here. I gotta go get it. Fortunately, it didn't land in the water. These mud flats, evidence that it used to be a marsh.
Daddy, would you take me back to Muhlenberg County down by the Green River where paradise lay? I'm sorry, my son, but you're too late in asking Mr. Peabody's coal train is hauled it away.
And that ends the adventure.